This is a report that looks at potential COVID-19 cases. So what we did in this report is we took the symptoms of COVID-19, and this is based on some medical research that has recently been released by CDC and the WHO to say these types of diagnoses are potential cases. And these are the cases that we want to mark for potential testing for COVID-19. So we can see this is for the cases in the month of January that presented with the symptoms that we see in COVID-19. So you can see the breakdown of the number of cases, and here we have the average total cost of these cases by presenting diagnosis. So whether it's acute bronchitis or pneumonia or a respiratory distress syndrome or simply a fever, shortness of breath, or cough, we can see how the typical average cost is for those cases. And then once we have this costed data for our COVID-19 cases, we can then extrapolate that to understand how these cases, if they test positive for COVID-19, will then greatly increase in cost. Just to show some ability of Web Intelligence, we just have a trending graph that I created by week, so we can see how the trend had shot up for a second, went down, and if we extended this across February and March, we would definitely see an increase in cases as we saw on the other report. We also have the ability to create drill downs within this, so we can see the exact patients who have a specific diagnosis. So if I wanted to focus in on my respiratory distress syndrome, as those are high cost cases, we could click on that and it would drill in this list to only focus on those cases, see any variance between the different encounters that presented with that diagnosis, and so on and so forth. What we want to do is understand, we can understand from this report is what are the cases, what is the case volume, what is the trending volume for cases that potentially should go into that queue for testing for COVID-19, what is our hospital practice for testing? So when patients come to the hospital presenting with these diagnoses, what are our clinical steps to isolate and to get testing? Based on this data, we can extrapolate how many tests we will need going forward and the cost of providing this test. And how does that affect our 2020 budget and the reallocation of our general ledger resources? So this is all data and information we can gain to make this extraordinarily timely and informed decision regarding how we treat COVID-19 cases and potential COVID-19 cases.